Trey, obviously being named captain this week, first of all, did you have any idea that was coming, and what was your initial reaction when you heard Mike Elko say your name?
Right, yeah, I had no idea going into it, so it was just a huge honor, a huge excitement, to be honored by my teammates and get that opportunity to do that. And it was I had no idea going into it, so it's just very exciting.
We'll go second row on the right side to Olin.
So Trey, what qualities in you do you think your teammates saw that said, "Hey, this is the guy we want to be our captain"?
Right. I'd probably say I'm not the most vocal leader on the field, but I would say I always lead by example every single day. I set a standard, and I hold myself to it and everyone else around me. So I think that's probably what they see most.
We'll go back behind the lights on the right side to Ben.
Hey Trey, what did it mean for for you, but also just seeing for Torian as well, for two team captains? By the way, Coach talked about, it seems like it was pretty overwhelming belief in both of you guys. Just what did it mean for you guys to seemingly be pretty overwhelming favorites in terms of that?
I think it was really cool because usually we have 4 or 5 captains. So to see that, I think it just goes to show how much that the team believes in me and Torian and what we can do for this team.
We'll stay back behind the lights on the left side to Daryl and then Brent.
Trey, I wanted to know, who did you vote for? Can you tell us who you voted for? I mean, do you feel comfortable doing that?
Yeah, sure. I voted for Torian, and I also voted for Shamar and Connor Wigman.
We'll go front row on the right side to Brent and then Carter.
So this is a question for coaches, but also team captains. In this day and age, when you're trying to build a culture and keep a culture, how do you do that with so much turnover in rosters? You're in, guys coming in, and next thing you know, they're leaving and so forth. How do you do that?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
How do you build a culture
Oh.
when there's so much turnover right now with rosters in this kind of new era?
Right. It's hard at times with how much people are coming in and out, but I think we've really done a good job this semester with Elko coming in of setting the standard. So when people come in and leave now, they know what's expected from them right off the get-go. So there's doesn't really take them long to understand what they need to do here.
All right, so you spoke to my daughter's middle school, and I know education runs deep in your family. So how important is doing things like that, and in this community as well, that education part, important for you to do things like that in the community you live in?
Right. Education is second to none. It's the most important thing. Football is going to end at some point for everybody, so you need something to do when that's over. But yeah, education is the most important thing.
We'll go second row on the right side to Carter and then Daryl.
Trey, I know you weren't, participating in spring last year, and it's kind of a weird spring game. I think you guys had like 2/3 of the field. There was 50 players that were kind of available. This spring, you guys have a lot of guys y'all brought in from the transfer portal. Obviously, you have the whole field. Just how different do you expect this spring game to be, and what are you trying to get out of it as a guy who's been around for a bit? And spring game's probably not everything, but what are you hoping to get out of it?
Right. I'm really looking forward to the spring game because, practice is practice. We're working on fundamentals in the playbook, but the spring game is really where you get to see who the players are and who's going to make plays in crucial moments and who's going to step up to the challenge of what game days are actually like.
We'll go back behind the lights on the left side to Daryl and then Ben.
Trey, I have a follow-up to that about the spring game. How much does it energize you to be able to practice or participate or do what you do on a football field with there being a crowd versus just being coaches and your teammates?
Right. For me personally, it's really no different because I always kind of block out the crowd once I step onto the field, because if you're looking up into the stands during a game, you kind of get lost in all of it. So for me personally, it's going to be no different than a practice, just going to get out there and compete with the rest of the guys.
So you're telling me that 100-something thousand, you can block all that out?
It's pretty hard sometimes, but that's just what you have to do to be able to get the play call and know your assignment and what you got to do to block the guy in front of you.
I applaud you for that. My follow-up about the education that you were talking about earlier, what are some of the biggest hurdles that you remember having to clear after being a high school senior to then coming to Texas A&M? And I'm looking academically, not because you're a football player.
Right. Well, the academics take a huge step up. You're kind of more on your own once you get into college, because in high school, you know, your teachers will check up on you, you know, make sure you're getting your work done, make sure you're doing what you need to do. But here in college, like, the professors still care about you, but it's really up to you to decide how well you're going to do in your classes. So it's really important to, you know, stay locked in and do your best at all times.
We'll stay back behind the lights and go to the right side to Ben.
Over here, Trey. Just speaking to that environment again, I mean, let's be honest. Any easier offensively? I know, like, you know, they could maybe plot a good defensive play, but I know a lot of fans go out there. They want to see touchdowns. They want to see scoring. Any extra help on that end? I just with the fans out there on Saturday, like knowing that fans are going to be kind of rooting for the offense.
Right, yeah. It'll be nice, yeah, when we score, make a big play to, you know, hear that crowd in the background. But, you know, like I said, it's just going to be kind of another day of practice. We're gonna make plays. The defense is going to make plays, so it'll just be fun to get better out there.
Awesome. Hey, I wanted to ask you, I'm not sure necessarily y'all are doing more of it in practice now than you were earlier, but being later into the process, when y'all do go to full, you know, offense or 11-on-11 drills, now that, especially with that offensive line, y'all have had the whole spring to work together, is it, I guess, what are you seeing from you guys as a unit, I guess, meshing more so in those situations compared to maybe earlier when you're still kind of figuring each other out?
Right, yeah, you said it, yeah, getting all these reps together, we're really kind of getting a flow together where we know how the guy next to us is going to respond to a certain situation or a certain look, so we're able to, you know, make blocks, you know, make double teams better, and just be able to communicate without actually communicating is huge, so that's what we're just getting done with all the reps we're taking.
We'll go second row on the left side to Alex and then the battalion.
You mentioned expectations earlier. As a team captain, what are some of the specific expectations you hope you can hold your teammates to?
I would say just discipline and effort, you know, doing the right thing when you need to do it and on and off the field, and also just giving 100% effort in everything you do, because with those two things going on, you can't go wrong.
And just along with that, where do you hope you can see your team grow in getting to those expectations as you guys head into the summer?
I would say we're doing really well, like on that path, getting better at those, but I'd say going into summer, just making sure we don't start dropping the rope after spring ball, because right now it's really intense, but once summer starts, we just need to keep that same mentality and keep the foot on the gas.
We'll go one row back to the battalion and then Mark.
Trey, from a player standpoint, how do you, I guess, evaluate success in the spring game? What makes it a successful spring game from your standpoint in these inter-squad scrimmages?
Right, I wouldn't base it off results like score at the end of the game at all. I would base it off of execution, that when the plays get made, that it's not from a mistake, but it's from someone going above and beyond and making a great play.
We'll go front row on the left side to Mark.
Trey, what are some of the big changes that you've seen from Coach Adazio and what he emphasized to Coach Cushing this year?
I would say Cushing emphasizes the little details a lot more, you know, doing everything right perfectly, and, you know, learning more about the game from a wider perspective, not just the offensive line, which I really enjoy, learning a lot more about the game.
We'll go second row on the right side to Carter and then Brent.
Trey, what was it kind of meant to see Connor not be 100%, but be at practice, participating every day? And then what have you just seen and made of what he's shown this spring?
Right, yeah. I know he's not been at 100%, but he's out there working his butt off every single day, getting better, making the calls, getting on the offense and the defense to, you know, give more effort, be more disciplined. Like when we make small mistakes, he doesn't ever let that slide. So it's good to have him out there.
We'll go front row on the right side to Brent to wrap us up.
I was curious, you said a wider learning of the game from Coach Cushing. What's an example of that where you say, hey, I know now something that I didn't know before?
I would say getting more in depth about the safeties and the rotation of the defense, getting to like see things before they happen from a defensive perspective, knowing what the defense needs to do and what they are supposed to do kind of helps you with how they're going to play and how you need to block them.
And did you mean also in terms of kind of a history of the game as well? Is it along those lines or not so much?
Not so much, but yeah.
Okay. And also, you know, it's been pretty remarkable what Bryce Foster has managed to do in terms of balancing his duties. What is y'all's approach on that with him being part of the track team, a very successful track team, but also, you know, playing center on the football team as well?
Right. Love Bryce. Love to get him when he's around, but I know he also is part of the track team. So whenever we can get them, we love to have them.
All right, that's all we have. Thank you, Trey.
Thank you.